This is my 4 kilowatt mid-drive 3D printed electric bike. It's powered by a tiny electric skateboard motor and passes speeds of 25 miles an hour with a maximum torque of 110 Newton meters. But let's go back to the beginning. It all started with one video. In his video, Tom stated that a hub motor performed better than his DIY e-bike. Having built both a mid and a hub drive e-bike, I know that mid-drives, although much more expensive, have upwards of double the torque of hub motors while also being lighter. This set me on a mission to create a high-performance mid-drive system for less than the cost of a hub motor. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I built an e-bike which can go 24 miles an hour using this motor. I'm also going to walk you through the whole process from designing to building so you can try making your own e-bike. I began by taking measurements of my BMX to model my parts. After finally finishing designing the parts, I assumed things were going to get easier. Unfortunately, as it is with engineering, everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. And after a whole host of failures, I finally started seeing results. Before assembly, I realized I needed a tensioner for the drive belt, so I took more measurements and got down to designing. For this project, I chose a 100 amp Vesk and a massive 150 amp 13S 6P battery pack. After installing the tensioner, I began setting up the motor in the Vesk software, but things turned out to be harder than expected. It's 12 AM. It's almost 1 AM actually. And I've been trying to get this working. I actually feel like killing myself at this point. It just doesn't work. The motor isn't able to provide enough torque. And if I can't get this fixed, then that will mean my whole project was a waste. Alright, this is the problem. The belt is slipping. That's what the problem was all along. I've ordered a new motor, but the belt is slipping. So I've got to redesign the chain tensioner and add a bearing here to stop the belt slipping. After hours of designing one part, the tensioner snapped. Uh-oh. The tensioner's almost broken the wheel and the belt keeps slipping. So I headed back to the drawing board and redesigned the motor mount. With the new motor mount, I integrated the tensioner just below the second gear, which should reduce the belt slip. Since my old motor had very little torque, I bought a new one. A 6354 2450 watt motor with more than double the torque of the old motor. This is because the motor is sensored, which allows the ESC to control each phase depending on the location of the stator, instead of just dumping current into each phase periodically. As you can see, this motor had a lot more torque than the uncensored one, despite being much smaller. Just as things were going absolutely brilliantly, yep, my motor fried. So I did what any engineer would do and bought an even bigger motor. This time, it's a 7070 110 kV motor with 9.5 Newton meters of torque, and it's much bigger and torquier than both previous motors. During my research in which KV motor to buy, I fell headfirst into the internet's deepest rabbit hole. KV versus torque. And only one man seemed to have the answers.
However, it would not be correct to say that you get a potential torque output that is higher by going to these lower KV motors. As you can see, the torque potential of all these motors from this specification sheet on a high quality motor manufacturer is around the 318 mark. All these motors have the exact same value when you just simply multiply the current by the KT value in order to determine what kind of torque output you're going to get. So really, if you have that 3960 KV motor and you want to get more torque output, so you say, hey, I'm going to drop all the way down to the 660 kV motor. Well, the big problem here is that you just had the potential to deliver 132 amps to that motor and it would handle it no problem, but now you only have a maximum of 22 amps that you can deliver to this small KV motor in the same size classification of that 3960 kV motor. You would be correct in saying that that motor is going to give you a much higher amount of torque potential per amp. However, because the amps are so low, you are going to get the exact same torque output from that motor as a potential versus our 3960 kV motor here at 318.
Now here's the issue. With a higher KV motor, the torque per amps is much less than a lower KV motor, which means to get the same amount of torque, you need to increase the current. However, increasing the current increases the total power draw, but if you drop the voltage to equalize the power, you end up spinning at the same speed as the lower KV motor, which means to get the same amount of torque as the lower KV motor, you end up producing the same speed and the same torque. To confirm this, I found the spec sheets of a 7070, 110 kV and 190 kV motor. The results were surprising. The 110 kV motor had a maximum power output of 2.1 kilowatts, which was much below the rated power. And the stall current was 15.7 Newton meters at 160 amps, which was much above the rated current. On the other hand, the 190 kV motor had a maximum power output of 5.9 kilowatts, much above the rated 2.5 kilowatts, with a maximum stall current of 23.1 Newton meters at a current of 430 amps. This really shows that the specs shown on websites aren't correct, as both of these motors almost have complete different ratings. In fact, increasing the kV just means you have a higher current and voltage limit, almost double that of a lower kV motor.
After 5 months of desperate attempts to get this e-bike working, things were starting to take shape. Until...
The hex nut has sheared the inside of the gear. So as you can see over there.
After reprinting and replacing the gear, I took my first successful ride. Due to the torque of the motor, the belt was slipping quite a bit when given full throttle. The motor is geared at a 1:20 ratio, which means the maximum torque of the wheel is almost 190 Newton meters. Just for some perspective, that is more torque than a 600-pound BBSHD mid-drive motor, which is able to wheelie from standstill. Since I definitely did not need that much torque, I reprinted the first stage of the gearing to bring the total ratio down to 1:12, meaning the total torque is 12 times 9.5, which is 114 Newton meters, which is still an incredible amount of torque for something this small and light, and at such a low price point. I will be breaking down the total cost at the end of the video, so stick around to find out whether this build was worth it or not. Now, while replacing the gears, I noticed the threads on the bolt I was using as a drive shaft were flattened at the points of contact with the bearing. This was causing an angle while spinning, increasing the chance of the belt slipping. Reducing the gear ratio of the motor massively boosted the top speed of the e-bike to upwards of 23 miles an hour. In fact, the belt was still slipping due to the torque of the motor, which meant I can easily increase the top speed to at least 30 miles an hour while still having good acceleration. But since I'm relying on only one set of extremely poor brakes, increasing the speed will most likely not end well. total cost for this project came out to be £300, which is less than the price of a hub motor kit. For the next part of this project, I want to take this to the next level and mount this motor underneath the crankset and drive the chain with it, making a proper mid-drive kit. If you would like to see me do that, drop a comment below and let me know what you thought of this project and any other builds you'd like to see me do.